Pretty good. Everything's lit up all bright and shiny. They turn off like they should. Okay, we're gonna get this. Wait a minute. Now, you didn't go away yet? Oh boy, I think you got some plans for me. Well, anyway, we've seen this before. Maintenance required. All right, well, you off for now. Let's go.
1 week later.
All right, let's do this. Let's get a rollout. Okay, ooh, 61 degrees. That's nice and warm on this fall morning. Maintenance required. Oh, you're sticking around this time. You were there. All right, we'll take care of you. It's been about a whole tank full of gas, and you definitely still there now. We'll take care of you.
Hi, thanks for joining the channel. My name is Reggie. You may know me best for my 1980 Lincoln Continental Mark VI and my 2020 Mustang GT. Today, I am changing the oil on my wife's 2015 Toyota RAV4. This vehicle comes in very handy during the winter months. Right now, we're in the mid-October, so we're deep in fall right now, and we are going through a transition that I don't want to put my classic car into, and sparingly with my Mustang. So for many of you who are fortunate to have like a crossover or any kind of ideal vehicle for winter months, I'm getting mine set up and prepped, so whenever it's convenient, I can take this car. All right, so straightforward. Store all your old oil in one of these containers. When you're done, take it to any of your local auto parts stores. Many of them will have a recycle program. Go for a funnel. When you put in new oil in, you don't want to make a mess because that'll stink. Got a couple of ratchets here that are going to move this project along a little faster. I'll show you the application on these very shortly. Yep. So I got these gloves. It's not really about vanity. This is about a lot of engine bay fluids today are advanced and have a lot of synthetics, and they're not as, they're not as kind to the human skin. So gloves are ideal for the various chemicals that you might be dealing with. But today, straightforward synthetic oil. I got an economy brand. I do change the oil frequently, so just straightforward. We've had this car since 2015. It's got like about, 131,000 miles on it right now. So it's been doing just fine. Same situation with the filter. This filter is kind of unique. It's straightforward, an insert that'll go into a container. So this is very different from what you may be familiar with, which is these traditional disposable filters. This one actually comes from a Subaru. So again, this completely disposable. Just throw this right away when it's done. However, this one, they save on materials, and I'll show you how to remove the container for that as we go along. It's very helpful to get the specific tool for this job to remove that container. So this is the oil filter wrench, and you can drive this directly with this ratchet. And you're going to want a little bit of extension like that so that you can clear the lower bumper. Now let's get it started. Double check if you're wearing any kind of drawstring or a hoodie, tie, anything, just tuck that in. We don't want that to get sucked in the engine when we check it on later on. And that's a good practice that any loose clothing should be tightened up when doing work in the engine bay. All right, so let's go for the oil, check the oil condition. Not bad for 5,000 miles. All right, right here on the cap, you can double check the viscosity and weight. SAE 0W20. SAE 0W20. Just to help the flow of oil exit the engine quicker, I'll leave the cap off. And all right, I'm going to show you the location of the oil filter. Right underneath, twisting the camera around. This extension is going to help us remove the lower portion of the oil filter container. Some oil will start dripping out, so I'm going to get my oil pan. If you look closely, you'll see there's an O-ring. The filter kit will include a new one. Also, there's a drainer. I'll show you how to use that right now. So this plastic drainer came with the kit. It's got some threads on it. Just insert it right here with the nozzle facing inward and start turning the threads clockwise until, there it is, the remaining oil drains out of the filter. Okay, now that that oil is basically stopped, just remove it, the drainer, just remove it from the bottom of the thing. Take a pick like this and get that O-ring out of there. And the new O-ring from the kit, okay, let a little oil get on that. It's better to put this O-ring back in now before you take out the whole container, the oil container. All right, that's in there well. Place the cap back over it, thread it back on. All right, tighten it back up. Now we're going to remove the oil filter container using the proper tool. It has these grooves that line up with the corresponding ones on the actual container, but it's actually easier to put it on the ratchet first. Line it up and go counterclockwise. It's going to be several turns to get it loose. Okay, so now we got the container out. We can remove our tool. I'll show you once again those corresponding grooves, how we got it out. All right. This is the old filter. We'll pour out the remaining oil. Okay, this is the inside of the filter housing. We're going to set the new filter in. Before we do that, we're going to remove the old O-ring. Take your pick tool. It's around the bottom there. And the kit comes with a new one. Again, it could be lubed up with a little oil around it. This will help it from getting bound up. And it goes on right around the last thread. With that oil, it will help it more smoothly go back in. Take the new filter, slide it in, and it clicks in place. Also, for those of you who choose to add oil to your filter before inserting it back in, you're going to have to do a real good balancing act because it's not a traditional flat filter. So I'm going to, for the sake of this, go ahead and add some. We have to let it soak in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to pre-fill the filter. Takes a little while for it to settle in, but because the filter is going to just be inserted straight in, it should be fine. To remove the drain plug, it takes a 9/16 socket.
we can check the old oil that there's no metal particles or any concerns coming from the oil. All right, now that it's just about done draining, let's reinstall the drain plug. All right, using a 9/16 socket. That's about all it needs. Not too tight. Now we're going to carefully reinstall our pre-oiled oil filter container. Make sure it's in the groove. Turn it clockwise. Again, make sure it's inside the grooves. You're going to tighten it until it won't tighten any further. That's as tight as it can go. All right, now that we have our oil cap and our oil filter reinstalled, let's flip this around. Let's take a look at our oil cap. We want to make sure it's nice and clean, just oil. You want to look closely to make sure there's no milky substance, because that would be a sign of your coolant getting mixed in your combustion chamber and mixing it with the oil. Essentially, that would have been a gasket leak of some sort, but everything looks good here. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and start filling the oil back in. Using our funnel, we're gonna add 4.6 quarts of oil. And we've already pre-filled the filter, so this is a 5-quart oil container, so we'll leave some in there. So we'll need to run the engine for a little bit. All right, so while we're inside, we can reset the engine service light. With your last setting being in trip A, turn the ignition to stage 1. Hold the display button. Advance the key to stage 2. Continue holding the display button all the way until the last one is gone. It stops blinking and it's complete. Turn on the engine. And your check engine light and your service lights are now completely off. We're gonna let this run for a little bit, and then we're gonna shut the engine off and check the oil. All right, let's turn this off. So now that we've let the engine start one time, we've let it settle so we can give it our final oil level check. It's very clean. It's definitely in the safe area. All right, well, that completes our oil change. We'll give it one last look to make sure there's no drips.